Laura? Ah. Okay, it says recording.
Okay, yeah, I see it too. Okay, we'll get started, and then if people jump on, they can just kind of join silently. So, like I said on my Facebook post today, we kind of just wanted to get face to face with you guys to say, like, we're really overwhelmed too. I feel like I left convention, and there is just information coming at us from every direction, which is exactly what we said that we didn't want to happen, is for y'all to leave convention and feel overwhelmed and paralyzed and not know where to start. So much so that yesterday I finally texted Dimitri and was like, can you tell me something to do? I don't even know what to do today. I don't know where to start. And she kind of gave me a few things to do, and I was like, you might need to hold my hand for a while. And so we were just talking about that today, like, it's okay to feel like you need somebody to hold your hand for a little bit, because we are super overwhelmed with like new product information coming at us, and the new program for recruiting, the new like incentive program. It just feels like a lot. So when we talked today, we just thought, you know what, we really just want to get this down to like, what is the most important thing to focus on right now? I need that for myself. Like, give me 2 or 3 things to work on, and I can change it up later if I need to, but 2 or 3 things to kind of work on for right now. So that's what we're here for. We're here to hold your hand, give you some very bite-sized pieces of things to work on. If you were at the cabin this past weekend, Becky did a lot of training, but one of the trainings that she did that really stuck out to me was talking about focus. And she said when your focus is, when you don't have your focus fine-tuned, so when you don't have laser focus, that is where you get really overwhelmed, and that's where you get paralyzed. It's just like there's too much to do. I don't know where to start, and that paralyzes you. And so what she was saying is that you've got to fine-tune your focus. You've got to figure out like, what is, if I feel like I have 100 things to do today, what is my main focus? And then you build your goals around that, or you build your to-do list around that. So that's what we wanted to give you guys, was just what we feel like as a team and what we are individually doing right now. What is our laser focus? And just our hope is that we can kind of all get unified on that. So if we kind of give you what our focus is, then hopefully that will translate across the team too. Bella, please go close that door. So we feel like our focus needs to stay with recruiting. Yes, there's lots of great new products. Yes, we could do some sales on new products, and that's all coming up in the next couple of weeks. But we really feel like focus needs to stay on recruiting right now. And I'll tell you why. Right before convention, Becky did a Zoom call with a bunch of leaders, and she kind of recapped last year for us. So when everybody, right after convention last year and Lash Boost was launched, that was some of our biggest months ever as far as volume wise. Like, Lash Boost sales were through the roof. We had incredible volume growth. But then what happened was that died down, because people bought Lash Boost once and then it lasted them 5 and 6 months. And that volume is not sustainable on new products. I mean, yes, they're going to repeat that every 3 to 4 months that they need new volume, but it's not really sustainable volume as much as recruiting and new customers are. New consultants. So her stress in that meeting was, don't get sidetracked by these new products. That's going to come naturally. You know, PC sales is going to come as we advertise and as PCs reorder. That's going to come. But what will sustain us more is recruiting. So that's what we feel like. If you take anything away from tonight, recruiting is our focus. That is your individual focus. That is our team focus right now, is recruiting. So we've got 3 kind of nuggets for you. I'm going to pass it to Dee and kind of let her get. Oh, and one other thing that we really wanted to say too was that, there's so much noise about the new products. There's training you can listen to. There's these forms you can download. But as we were talking today, we kind of just came to the realization, like, new product isn't even available yet. So if we need to look at, like, what do we need to do in the next 7 to 10 days, it's recruit, and it's working on growing your team. Whereas as soon as new product is available, we're going to feed you that information when you need it. So if that just helps kind of like simplify things in your brain, just trust that, like, before the new product launch, we're going to be back at you with information and what you need to know about the individual products and what the bundles are and all that stuff. So feel the freedom, because I was feeling really stressed about like learning ingredients and learning products and then talking to my PCs. So feel the freedom to let that go right now if you need to. All right, I'm going to throw it to Demetria and let her get us started on kind of what our 3 ways that we're going to focus on this recruiting is.
Okay, thanks. Okay, guys, I think that, I echo everything.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Is that better?
Is your volume on?
Shoot. Yeah, yes, my volume's on. Is that better? Is that better? Is that better? Hello?
Y'all can hear her? I cannot. Okay, go for it.
Can you read lips, Molly? Guess not. Okay, if y'all can't hear me, like wave your hands or something. Okay, so the number one thing that we are going to focus on is events. So, I'll be honest, we are not a party company. We do not have to have parties ourselves. But I was really struck by Becky when she was talking about, when she did her live training, she talked about how having something on your calendar is a great way to drip on people. And then it just kept coming up over and over. I feel like having events. And so we do have a few events that are already on the calendar now. And Molly and I put another one on to do a virtual one for you guys. So if you're in Knoxville, there's a local one next Tuesday night at Surin. This is always really fun. It's easy, it's comfortable, it's fun to invite people to. We have sushi and wine or drinks or whatever you want. And it's just going to be our team. I think I'm presenting that night. And so it'll be a really fun one. That's next Tuesday at Surin. And we have all the information on our page. There's another one that corporate is coming to town on November the 2nd. So these are all things to have in your back pocket. So if you invite someone to Surin and they can't come, then immediately all you have to say is, oh, well, there's another one November 2nd that's going to be really fun too. Maybe go ahead and put that one on your calendar now, so that people that you have that you're interested in talking to about events or about being a consultant, that they would know that there's a couple coming up in Knoxville. For those of you on the team that aren't in Knoxville, we're going to do a virtual one. Molly and I will do a live Facebook one next Sunday night. So let's see, that's October the 22nd. So we haven't made an invitation for that yet or anything, but just know that we're going to do a live virtual one like we did a few weeks ago. We got great feedback from you guys. And so we're going to do another one of those in a couple next Sunday night. So, and if you guys think about, you heard what Molly and I did the last time, it will be real, raw. Here's our story. It won't be pushy on product or pushy on business. It'll just be here's our experience, right? So, we're going to do that. Also, don't forget about, I think that folks up in Maryland might be having one sometime coming up. I think folks in Nashville are having one. So find something around you. I'm telling you, having something. Today, I sat out on the beach and sent probably 10 text messages to people just saying, hey, would you be interested in coming to this with me? And got some positive responses. It's just nice to have a reason to connect with someone. It is a great, great way to drip. Okay. If those kind of things aren't kind of appealing to you, think about doing a wash and run. Think about doing an open house or a coffee house. Or I know Suzanne does a cool thing where she just goes to a coffee shop once a week and it's come by and talk to me about this if you want to. So there's tons of different ways that you can host some type of event that's minimal effort on your part, but it's great to have a reason to reach out and connect with those people. So focus on those events. We're trying to make it really easy to have virtual ones and live ones for you guys to invite people to. Okay, Molly? You're muted. You're muted.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Had to go out and come back in. All right. So the second way, or the second little thing to kind of focus on along with your recruiting, is 3-way calls. And I feel like we say this all the time, and I feel like I hear it all the time, and it makes me want to roll my eyes. But we are going to just drive this into the ground, because the only thing I know to say is that 3-way calls work. Okay. A couple weeks ago when we had that big challenge, y'all were bringing me 3-way calls left and right. And when I look back over that list, or I think back over, who that was that brought me the calls, everyone joined. Everyone that I had a 3-way call with, I didn't have one that didn't end up joining within the next couple days. And there's lots of lingering conversations too, which is great from 3-way calls that have happened over the past month. And so I just want to encourage you. I want to give you a couple pieces of language, maybe reach out language of how to say, let's get on a 3-way call. And then just give you a quick idea of what if you haven't been on one with me or Demetria, what it looks like. And maybe that will kind of squelch some fears, but put in your head on repeat, 3-way calls work, and that you've got to be bringing us 3-way calls. And so some inviting language that maybe feels a little bit less awkward than saying, like, you don't want to say 3-way call. You don't want to say, can you get on a 3-way call with my business partner? Like, don't use any of that language. One of the easiest things to say is, hey, one of my friends in the business, I was telling one of my friends the other day about you, and she got really excited and wanted to meet you. Is there any way you would jump on the phone? And so blame it on us. I mean, you can blame it on me and Demetria and say something about, I don't know if you should use the word upline, but one of your friends in the business or something wants to hear from you or wants to talk to you. The other thing I say a lot is, I've told you everything I can tell you right now. You know my opinion. You know that I think that you will be great at this. But I would love for you to hear from somebody else that has a similar situation to you. And so a lot of times, like, let's say they're a nurse. I'll say, hey, I've got this nurse on my team that is working the business the same way that I could see it would fit in for you. I'd love for her to just be able to tell you how she's doing this and how that fits. So you can make it feel casual and and you can even say, this is not an attempt to get you to join, it's just to give you more information. And so once you get on a 3-way call with us, just to give you an idea of what the first few minutes is like, is a lot of times the very first thing I will say is, hey, just to kind of get this off my chest and make you feel more comfortable, this is in no way an attempt to gang up on you and try to get you to join and sign right now. That's not, we really want to give you all the information that you need to have to make the best decision for you and make sure that this is the right fit for you. So I try to say that within the first few minutes of being on the call, just so they can kind of like take a breath and like, okay, this is not so weird and awkward. And then the very next thing I'll say is, usually I'll say, here's what I typically do in 3-way calls is, I know that Suzanne's already given you a ton of information. And so I thought maybe you would just like to hear another perspective or another story. Would you like me to do that? Would you like to hear my story? Or do you already know questions? If you've already got a list of questions going, let's jump right to that. And I've had people do both ways. Most of the time I would say I have people say, yeah, I kind of want to hear your story and your perspective. But then I had one with Micah yesterday, 2 days ago, that she was like, no, I know my questions. I've got a list of questions right here. And so we just kind of pounded through that, and it worked great too, because I was able to kind of fill in bits and pieces of helpful information. So I feel like I could talk about that forever, but just know you're going to be scared of them until you do it. It's going to feel weird and awkward. We think it's weird and awkward to try to ask somebody to do that. But once you're on the phone, they go fine. They're not weird. They're not awkward. And it ends up being a really crucial point in building the business. I think that's all I've got, Dee.
Okay. The final thing is, and these all kind of mesh together, but this Spark incentive that they have launched, we want y'all to work this. Okay. Now here's what we also want y'all to know. It's kind of like anything. It's like when I start a new consultant, I always say the best way to learn the business is to do it. So I don't want you to get bogged down. You can go and you can read the frequently asked questions. You can read how this program works. But honestly, I would say, like, all you need to know is, you don't really need to know any of that until you have recruited someone, okay? So don't get bogged down in it. I think we know the basics, which is their month 0, they need to sign at a $695 or $995, or they need to have $600 in their SV bucket, okay? Meaning if they do not sign with a $695 kit or a $995 kit, then they need to have $600 in their 100 bucket, okay? So that's what kind of qualifies them for the program, okay? So you need to know that first of all. And then that's their month 0, okay? So $600 in their SV at least in month 0. And that's kind of almost like, think of that as like, that's what gets you into the Spark program. Month 1, if they are an EC, then they're gonna get the 10 Give It a Glow samples. and as a consultant that sponsors them, so you guys, you're going to get that same thing. You're going to get the 10 Give It a Glow too. And now these are the new Give It a Glow that have the new intensive renewing serum. Okay. Month number 2, if they hit level 1. So you have to think about that. If they sign at the beginning of a month, so that's their month 0, month 1, and then month 2. So they have a long time to get. So this is what I'm saying is like, you need to understand, like, this is doable for them to hit level 1 by the end of their second full month, right? Then they are going to get a $400 bonus. I mean, that 400, like real dollars, like that's a lot of money. Am I saying that right? Yes. $400 and more samples. And as the sponsor who assigned them, you will get, just think of it like half. You're going to get half that amount. And you get that money. I want y'all to understand why you're going to get that bonus. That's because it takes work to onboard somebody, to train them, to get them up and running, and running a business. You know, it takes work on your part. So you're going to get benefited for that as well. So it's not just kind of like, hey, everybody wants some free money. It's really because it does take work as a sponsoring consultant to get your new consultant to that point. But I mean, that's kind of a nice way to be compensated for that, right? So then third month, by the end of the third month, if they are a level 2 consultant, they will get $600 more dollars, real live dollars on their paycheck as a bonus, and more samples, and then you're going to get 300 and more samples as well. So there's a lot of little nuances in this and a lot of different things that you can get bogged down in. But what I would say is figure that out after you have somebody who is potentially going to qualify to get these things, right? So if you have somebody who joins the business between now and December, then you need to know how to make sure that you are going to take advantage of this program, okay? The program starts in October, so if you had someone who signed in September, they're still working the Fast Start program, okay? So they're still working to get their kit reimbursed. That program is still going on for people who signed before October 1st, okay? But October 1st and on, this is our new program, okay? So we are now working with the Spark program. So anyone who has signed between October on is going to be doing this Spark program, okay? The reason that they have done this, you guys, and this I think is helpful. I even said this to a girl today that I was on the phone with. The reason that they have done this is because there's so much information that backs up that people who start their businesses faster do long-term do a whole lot better. Okay. So people who, because think about it, they're getting great paychecks. They're fully supported by a great team. They're super encouraged because, wow, I mean, how did this happen? And now they have their own team. And so you just learn so much more about the business when you have someone under you needing to learn it too. So there's so much positive to starting quickly like this. And so they're incentivizing starting quickly because they know in the long run that makes your business grow and more sustainable. Okay. So it's really because they know from the statistics that the faster you get started, the more sustainable your business is going to be. Think about it. If you have somebody who doesn't hit EC for month after month after month and doesn't get any kind of paycheck and doesn't, I mean, they're going to eventually fizzle out. But people who start and hit the ground running, they're the ones that are going to kind of be in for the long term. Okay. So the reason we threw these things your way, we said 3 things to focus on: events, 3-way calls, and working this new program. The reason we picked these 3 things is because they are the basics. Honestly, when you boil it down, it's like connect with people, okay? Connect with people, invite them to things, tell them about a 3-way call, tell them that you want them to come with you to something. You want them to watch something because you think they're awesome and they'd be great. So it's the basics. It's connecting with people. It's getting them good information, and 3-way calls are so effective to do in that. And also, I mean, they're going to get really well rewarded for this. And so are you as the sponsoring consultant. So I know that you come home from convention or you see all this stuff that's all of a sudden bombarding, and it's like, oh my gosh, new program, new incentives, new products, new everything. And so it really does feel like we might choke, on all this stuff. So we wanted to just say, all you need to do right now is think about this. Invite people to events, invite people to three-way calls. The product sales will follow. You're going to sell some of this new eye serum, okay? Put up a few before and after. So you're going to sell some. We don't need to worry about that right now. We can't even sell it, So it's just kind of like, let's block out the noise and focus on what we can do. And we already have the Spark program going, and we already have some events lined up, and we already have three-way calls that we're willing and able and ready to do for you guys, okay? We also want you to know, and Molly said this earlier, that we promise you, okay, I feel like we've done a pretty good job up to this point, so hopefully you can trust us, but we promise you that we will provide you with the information that you need when you need it. Okay, so don't spin your wheels feeling all stressed about, I don't know the active ingredient in this new eye, or when do you use the eye serum? I don't even know the answer to that. So, but we will promise you will know in time, okay, when you need to know it, okay? Also, Molly and I are committed to looking through the convention stuff and making a list of like most beneficial things to watch. So we will get you that list so that you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to eat an elephant and there's just so much, and what do I need to watch? We'll let you know kind of the don't miss things. Okay, so I think that's kind of it. I think those are the things that I thought about. Molly, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's it too. When she was talking a little bit about convention, the only other thing I would say is that if you've never been to convention, you probably have no idea that virtual website that we have. I mean, y'all, we have not even scratched the surface on the information that's offered to us. Because when you're at convention, you're in general session, which we haven't even watched all those, at least as a group we didn't. And then you're in probably 2 to 3 other breakout sessions a day. And so just know that there is so much good information in there, and I don't want that to go to waste. You're able to watch that up until December 31st. So just like Demetria said, we'll kind of weed through that for you, because there probably is a lot that you don't need to watch. But we'll weed through that and try to come up with a good list of our top choices or whatever. But thanks for making the effort and the commitment to be on here tonight and kind of hear us out, and share with your teams. We'll make sure the recording gets posted. So share with your teams, and hopefully they'll get caught up too.
Okay. Hopefully this dumbed it down for you a little bit and you feel a little less overwhelmed. It helped me at least. So
Me too.
Any burning questions, anything before we go? Emily? Did you, or were you saying bye?
You're muted. Hang on.
You're muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to find the mute button. So I saw just some conversation on some of the groups I'm in about the Give It a Glow packets, the old ones. What are y'all recommending we do with those, because they have the old night renewing serums?
Mm-hmm. It's a good question.
Becky addressed this yesterday, and she just said, because I feel the same way. I have like boxes of them. And she said, use them. Do not let them go to waste. And when you hand them out, or when you follow up with people, all you have to say is, we have a newer product. That little blue capsule you use, there's a newer product. It looks the same, but it's tons better. It's 20 times more potent. It's stronger. It's smarter. So we'll give you some of that language. But for now, just use them. Use them till they're gone. Don't let those go to waste.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I plan on doing.
Me too.
Give them out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the product is similar enough that, it's not like a totally different product or something. So thankfully it's similar enough that they'll at least know what it kind of looks and feels like.
I'd almost guarantee no one would even really notice. You know what I mean? Like they probably wouldn't. You would probably want to say something, but I don't think I wouldn't make a big deal over it, or, so. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Let us know. We're available to do calls or set up things for y'all. So let us know how we can help.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Bye.